Hello everyone and welcome to Suburban Stone Age, and today's video is about a wild food I hadn't heard about until a few years ago. Maybe you know it, but it's from North America, east of the Rockies, and it's called American Groundnut, or Apios Americana is the Latin on it. And I wanted to show this plant to you because I bought a couple tubers about 4 years ago, and I planted them in the ground in the front yard. And they are having a banner year today, or banner year this year. They have never looked so good. So they are nitrogen fixing. There's a whole host of benefits that we will go through on this plant. They're nutritious, and they're really pretty too. I enjoy the flowers, although it's not my top priority. It's nice when you get that extra bonus. Let's move in and get a close-up of one. But anyway, it's a wonderful plant. I tried some last night and it was delicious. And I'm excited to tell you more about it. Here we are, and it's early autumn now. And the Apios Americana, which is this viney guy right here, has died back. That's the signal that it's time to go ahead and dig some tubers. So that's what I wanted to show you today, is how the plant, it's deciduous, I guess, but it dies back in the fall. And I'm going to harvest the tubers, show you what those look like, and we're going to eat some. So hang in there, we'll have some fun. So when it comes to groundnuts, the most popular way of propagating is through tubers. But I have the variety that actually produces these little bean pods. So you can, they look like they're a member of the legume family, which they are. But they also, I guess there's a variety out there that's sterile and doesn't make seed, but I happen to get the variety that does. So that's one way to propagate them, by seed. However, I still think it's probably more productive to propagate them with tubers. But I did want to show you what the little seed pods look like and what the little beans inside look like. The birds really seem to enjoy them too. I see them in here cracking the seed pods a little bit. So this is a harvested groundnut. This is a typical size. They usually don't get too much bigger than this, often smaller if they haven't had enough time to grow. And then this is what they look like growing in the ground. These are still small, but they show that distinctive growth characteristic where they look like beads on a string. So you get the tubers, and then they're joined by this little tail, and you can, oops, that one tore out, but you can just follow it along in the ground and get more. And they're pretty abundant and pretty darn close to the surface. As you can see, there's quite a few here. So harvesting groundnuts isn't difficult at all once you get them going. One thing I've noticed is that they really like to grow under stepping stones. See how they just kind of travel along like that? So I think they like the extra moisture the stepping stones give. So I might try putting more stones down next year to see if I can get more to grow underneath them. So after a few minutes of some very enjoyable digging in my autumn garden, I have a basket full. Next I've got to trim them, wash them, and then we'll steam them for a delicious meal. So I spent a few minutes this morning cleaning up the Hopniss. I let them sit, once I harvested them yesterday, I let them sit overnight because they do have like a latex in them, and letting them sit just overnight helps that dry out a little bit so it's not quite so sticky. So this bowl to the right is the cleaned up groundnuts, and then the basket has the trash, so the stems and the little itty bitty ones that I didn't use or were too small to really process. So the good news is that the basket of trash, I'm literally going to dig a hole in my garden and bury it. And hopefully more will grow throughout the years. But it's nice because there's no packaging, there's no trash, no artificial trash. The only byproduct of this is just actually more food. So that's a big bonus. So from here, the next step is that I'm going to let the processed groundnuts soak a little bit in water until any of the leftover dirt kind of falls off, and I will rinse them really well, and then we'll cook them up. We've got them peeled and now we're boiling them. They'll be done pretty soon. When they are fork tender, I'm going to take them out. We'll fry them up. Drained them off, smashed them up, put some butter in there and some chopped scallions. So I'm going to fry them up, mix them with scrambled eggs, and there we go. So here's the finished breakfast. It's warm and hearty and filling. The Hopniss does have a little bit of a dry potato-y texture, and there's a little bit more of a fibrous texture in it. But I bet if I cut the tubers crossways instead of leaving them whole, that would be mitigated quite a lot. And frankly, they don't have an overwhelming flavor at all. They take on the flavor of what they're cooked with, which is onions and eggs, and it's really good. And it came for free from my own front yard. So there you go, the American groundnut, Apios Americana. I recommend you try it. It's pretty, it's a nitrogen fixer, it's edible, and tasty. It's a good all-around plant. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please subscribe. We always have really cool new projects coming out. Give us a thumbs up if you found this interesting, and leave me a comment if you have any questions. And we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.